Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Valiant Wings publishing. And this book might look familiar to you because it's Airframe in miniature, which is dedicated to BF109 in its early series. So we have V1 to E9 including T series, and here you can see the number of this book. It's book number 5, but the main caveat here is that this is a second edition, so basically we get an improved and updated version. As you can see here, we have a yellow note that it's updated and expanded version with new kits, new builds, and some new information inside. And we have a commercial sample here, so it means you'll get exactly the same book as what you will see in this video review. And in my opinion, this is quite important release, especially considering amount of the new kits released recently which are copying this particular early versions. So that's why I thought it will be important to check it closer and see what is actually included here and why it might be handy for your next BF109 build. So first of all, we have a standard printing format. It's a soft cover with a cover print inside. As you can see, it's quite thick, and publisher promises 232 pages there, so it's quite impressive in my opinion. As you can see, it's still written by Richard Franks. And once we open it, we will have to close the lenses a bit so that you won't be blinded by the bright white cover shade. And my microphone is falling down, so just give me a second to try to fix it ASAP. Maybe it will hold it like this till the end of the review. Okay, so here we open it and we start with the contents page, and you can see that as usual we have airframe chapters and miniature chapters. There are 7 parts in airframe chapters and also 4 parts in miniature chapters. Next, we continue with the glossary and the preface, which will give you a short note about the development history of this aircraft. And I would recommend to pay attention to all this stuff because here basically you get, I would say, quite important notes on how this aircraft developed. As you can see, it is a matter of combining the important technical information together with the black and white photos and drawings. And I think it might be useful for modelers who would like to copy the early versions of this aircraft. These are quite unusual, and surprisingly there are not that many information available at the moment, so that's why I think it is really good that authors decided to dedicate a whole chapter to this topic. Next, we continue with the camouflage and markings chapter. So here we start seeing the color photos, and this is something what is necessary for markings obviously, but as you can guess, all the let's say time period photos, they still come in black and white, and there is nothing we can do about it. But still, it is great to see some of the markings in the battlefield, on the airfield to be precise. And of course, we have also a separate profiles section so that you can choose or see the marking you would like to pick for your next build, and maybe it will be handy in order to differentiate your model from the standard marking options which are usually included into the boxes. And we all know all these typical choices which are picked by the manufacturers in different scales. And now, talking about the model manufacturers, we gradually move into the section of the miniatures. As you can see, everything starts with a list of the various kits in different scales, and quite a handy feature here is that authors divide every scale, and that's why you can just go, for example, for the 148. As you can see here, of course, we have 148 scale Edward kits. We reviewed them all, so you can find it easily on our YouTube channel. We also have Hasegawa kits, we have some kits from Hobbycraft, and then we move on to the bigger scale. Obviously here it will be dominated by Trumpeter, and also I think there was a even bigger model, right? Or not? Yeah, so 124, it's Airfix, but they're quite old. Okay, doesn't matter. Next, we continue with a building model. So here, first build starts with a MPM kit in 1/72. It's BF109 V1 or FAU1. As you can see, it's early version with a 2-blade propeller. And this is quite an interesting option to assemble, I would say, because we are all used to see the classical BF109 shapes, but as you can see here, they are quite different in the early stages. So it might be a good eye catcher in case you would like to build something different but don't want to, let's say, move on from the German aircraft. And what I like about this style of the articles is that authors actually show every assembly step, and not like every minor step, but all the important stages of the assembly. And in my opinion, this is also handy stuff, especially if you do not have a huge experience behind your back. You have something to see, maybe you learn some new techniques, and it's also handy that authors show some small tricks, minor tricks, in order to teach you how to fix this or this issue. And for example, here on the bottom of the page you can see how to fix the gap between the wing root and fuselage parts. Next we continue with a build of Edward 1/32 scale. As you can see, it's a conversion into a D version, and it is signified by the different air intake, which is kind of similar to what we are used to see on Junkers 87. Nevertheless, there is also a standard BF109 E1 build in 1/32 scale from Edward. And then we continue with a building a collection. So this chapter is handy because, as you can see, it shows the main differences between the various versions. So it will be easier to understand what exactly you have to copy in order to have this or that type of the aircraft. And it's, in my opinion, very valuable inclusion because it gives a better understanding of what you have to do. And this is quite an interesting modification. I've never thought that there is a BF109 with a radial engine. It would be funny to copy it. And then we come to the in detail section. So the name says or speaks for itself. We have detailed photos of the real aircraft combined together with the drawings. And in my opinion, this is a really handy stuff for those who like to detail their aircraft. And it doesn't matter which scale you'll pick for your model. Still, there will be some minor features which you can copy on your aircraft kit. And maybe you can even copy them, with some, let's say, scratch build items, maybe metal wire, maybe something else, maybe with the plastic strips. But as you can see, there is a lot of information provided for the internal structure, and it might be handy with this recently popular skeleton kits. And next we continue. By the way, I think Jasmine model has the BF109E as a stripped down kit, so it might be a handy information in order to know how to fill in the various internal elements here and there. And of course, in the end we have appendices, so here you'll find all the possible kits, accessories, decals for assembly of these BF109 models. And one more useful inclusion is the bibliography. So we have a full list of various literature dedicated to this famous aircraft. And of course, another thing is the set of 1/48 scale drawings. And it will be handy for those who like to super detail their aircraft in terms of panel lines and rivets. And here we have quite an important image. This one was shot down, and after salvaging it was put onto the truck and transferred somewhere else. Okay, so that's pretty much all, and we can also check the actual amount of pages because sometimes it's different, but here it's 232. And last but not the least is the price of this book. It's 25.95 British pounds, which is pretty much on the same level as the previous releases. And in my opinion, this book, as I said in the beginning, it's something worth of spending your money on. So in case you plan to build the early version of BF109, this is something to consider, and I would recommend to hurry because usually they get sold out quickly. Of course, you can get them on the official publisher website. It's a Valiant Wings, and I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.